who is going to talk about. She's a licensed therapist, and we're going to talk about children. Hey, Nida, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing really well. And I'm a certified life coach, not licensed therapist. I'll just correct you there.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry because I've said that wrong and I've said it a few times, so I do apologize. So, Nida, go ahead and give your introduction and do it again because I did do it wrong.
Oh, I'm a certified professional life coach working with families, teens, and married couples. And the whole purpose is to work on the family dynamics with the program that I offer, Complete Family Reform, primarily working with teens and um, parents. And I love working with teens. They're the highlight of my day when I do work with them. Uh, and that's it. That's what I do. I work for families.
So, Nida, wherever we look, we see that the journey of teenagers is extremely difficult because not only are they growing up here in the US, they are growing up in a very different environment uh, compared to the expectation of parents. And parents expectations is coming from parents own culture, parents own religion, and a lot of these kids, they are not wanting to follow the religion either because they feel that they feel that uh, it's so much which is being imposed on them because nobody is listening to them as to what they want to say as children. But instead, all parents want is step 1, step 2, step 3. They just keep telling children that ye karo wo karo, and children don't want to do that. So how should this be rectified?
Well, first and foremost, this issue is now becoming so common. And the underlying stemming problem is being caused by two separate perceptions. One, we have to understand where the parents are coming from. And the way we parent our children is with our own parenting goals. So if a parent is saying, do this, do that, number one, they're raising their children from the experience of upbringing they have had. They're choosing to not do what was imposed on them as a parent and or whatever they liked about their culture and they took it as an essential part of it, whether culture or religion. They accepted it, they brought it, they gained value from it, and so they want their children to learn from it as well. Now, the children we raise is for their future. What parents attempt to raise is from their childhood. The children nowadays are confused and do question. And I encourage questioning because unless children have the power to question or they are encouraged to question, they won't gain the knowledge they're looking for to accept a certain behavior or a request from a parent or actually see a parent's persona or perception of what they're actually asking of them. Parents have a vital job. They have to give children language, value, moral, ethics, and prepare them for the future they are about to encounter because let's face it, parents won't be there. And if they are attempting to give children the culture, they have to know what the benefit is of accepting it. If they're giving their children religion, then they have to show the benefits of accepting it. What I see most commonly happening when I'm working with the teens is that the religion seems to appear as something that is being pushed on
Enforced on
them.
them. Yes.
Yes. But unless we know what is the benefit or if how I should be accepting of it, I mean, think about it. Peer pressure. People are making you take alcohol, drugs, whatever it is. Kids give in, right? Because what peers are doing, you're going to feel so good if you take it. Little sip doesn't hurt, all of that. Why is it so much easier to accept something of that nature that is detoxicating that can cause a lot of other kind of harm. But something as religion that is saying it's going to be peaceful, you have to pray, and all of this, people are resisting. That is because everything that the peers are saying, they glorify it. They give you the good reasons of it, even if it is
Nida,
something
sorry for
bad.
interrupting you, but there's
Sure.
another thing as well, that that children are so traumatized within their home environment, right? They have to start, they cannot be their true selves. So they keep as a one persona inside the house to satisfy the parents, but as soon as they leave, step outside the house, it's they are able to breathe. They cannot breathe within their house, right? So they go out and they're already so fed up with all the impositions and all, and sabse badi cheez, that the parents don't understand them, right? So they feel misunderstood, they feel nobody is listening to them, so they go out, and then they're ready to try drugs, they're ready to try alcohol, they're ready to try just anything, just because they are looking for that release of all that stress that they're getting in their house.
And I agree with you. That's 100% true. Because, and that is happening again, because something that is what they're trying is glorified, makes them feel like, okay, there's a release with it, instead of what their parents are trying to teach them. Now, when it's about parents and home feeling like a cage, so to speak, that's that also has a lot to do with how parents are parenting, their parenting style, and also how that is perceived. For instance, we have authoritative parenting. This parent just doesn't want to listen. It's my way or no way. And that's probably the most damaging sort of parenting that you can have. We have four different kind of parenting styles. Then there is yes parent. That child has no guidance because parent keeps giving into what they're requesting, and the child goes off doing whatever they like, whether harmful or not. Now, when it's about children making good choices for themselves, and we have to focus on choices, and every individual accepts from what they are learning and they're seeing, the degrees we have, the peers we have, the religious institutes we go to, the parents we have, all of this is a village that's making up a child. In order for a child to feel safe, they explore everything and they are intrigued to go towards something that feels like home, that feels safe, where they feel heard. The bottom line is, I will be very honest with you. After working with teens, I think they're the most beautiful creatures, beautiful children who are ready to listen and understand and find themselves.
But they want the
What if,
right role models, right? And most parents are having a hard time becoming the right role models for their children, because the children question everything. They want logic, they want logical explanations, and parents are not able to provide those. They just say कि मैंने ये बोल दिया है तो बस तुम सुन लो. वो क्यों सुन लो? Because मैं parent हूँ, इसलिए तुम मेरी बात सुन लो. That's
and
it.
you know, exactly, it does happen, 100% on board with you on that. And that is because parents themselves don't have a complete understanding of why they're saying what they're saying. One of the things when I was working on a case, what happened was the child was actually leaning towards becoming an atheist. Why? Because the religion seemed so hard. And after evaluations that we did, and we worked on some um, sessions, it came out the implication of religion that he was being or given had a lot of cultural impact too. And guess what that was triggering? He was not seeing the religion he was being taught being um, practiced in his own home. For instance, don't lie. Something as simple as that.
But then
But then
parents
the
will do
parents
it
go
themselves.
around and say it.
सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम, राइट? पेरेंट्स से कि ये नहीं करो, वो नहीं करो, मगर उसके बाद बच्चे जब, सो द किड्स डोंट लर्न फ्रॉम व्हाट पेरेंट्स आर सेइंग, द किड्स लर्न फ्रॉम व्हाट दे सी देयर पेरेंट्स डू. तो जब
They're
वो
very
पेरेंट्स
good
को देखते
observers.
हैं कि दे आर बीइंग
Exactly.
हिपोक्रिटिकल, जो बोल रहे हैं वो कर नहीं रहे हैं, रिश्तेदारों के बीच में लड़ाई झगड़े बुराइयां कर रहे हैं घर के अंदर, दूसरों को बुरा भला कह रहे हैं, किसने क्या नहीं, all this. And then they're thinking that the kids are not going to notice these things, but the kids feel and absorb every single thing. And Nida, because we don't have a whole lot of time, we have 12, 13 minutes left.
Sure.
So something which is very important, I feel, to address is children who are homosexual. They are gay or lesbians, or they are, transgender, or any of those things which they are experiencing or going through, and are our people don't understand this at all. They don't accept their children, they don't understand it, and when they see that the children are going through this, they completely ostracize the child. They will break their relationship with the child. But this is the child that you have given birth to. What happened to the unconditional love that parents are supposed to give their child?
So, as far as the topic goes, and we know we have a lot of this um, raising in the world per se and in America as well. Now, I will tell you, number one, I, I can only speak from the perspective of where I'm coming from. And I'll tell you, gender itself is who you are physically born, right? Now, I personally believe there is a third gender. That's a mutation of your sexual organ. And those children really do need to be accepted in the environment, in their homes, and everything else.
See,
As
Nida,
far
I'm
as
not so I'm not, my intention is not to put you in a spot where we discuss, and I know it's a very sensitive subject, so my intention is not to put you in a spot. My intention is that, are you seeing these kids who are completely lost because their parents are not accepting them for who they are? So my intention is for you to maybe guide parents as to what they should do and how they need to treat their children with unconditional love, so that you can bring out the best in your child. And you understand that, what, as a parent, you are a guide for your child, but the child is not going to become the person you want the child to become. They have their own individuality.
So that's what I was leaning towards. I was leading to say, and that is that we have to separate what is trending and what is otherwise. I am encountering children who are going through this confusion of who exactly am I? What exactly do I like? How am I supposed to feel? And the most common areas where this confusion is coming from has a lot to do with past traumas. Some of these children have been um, molested. Some of them have been raped. There is a dramatic experience with those who are genuinely confused. If a woman is raped by a woman, that child grows up thinking, maybe I am a lesbian. So there is an emotional trauma and attachment. Then there is a whole medical persona of it, which, yes, it is very possible that the child may experience different kind of feelings in relation to all of that. Now, a guidance to parents would be, first and foremost, instead of, if your child is coming to you and saying something, please listen. I'm just sharing some examples. There's a wide range of reasons and excuses that a child could feel this way. And as a parent, they have to, first of all, listen. Then, second of all, evaluate and see if there was a situation that was pushed under the rug, something child revealed. And many times, child does talk, and in basic culture, they have been told to be quiet.
Especially when it comes to, and it's not just girls who experience
It's
sexual
boys as well.
exploitation. It's also boys who are exploited. And I actually did a podcast on this 2 weeks ago. And it's on YouTube, where I did talk about rape and I did talk about sexual exploitation. And the numbers are so staggering and they are so high that, I mean, if, and you are usually, if you're molested, it's done by someone that who's very close to you,
Has
someone that
easy
you,
access.
right? So someone you trust. So parents, start listening to your children. These are religious leaders, people who are close to you, family members, close friends, people who you trust. uh, but listen to your child. When you see that your child is doing something that is not that doesn't seem right to you, build your relationship with your child so your child can tell you what they are going through.
Absolutely. And one of the hardest things that is there is parents are not the best of listeners. If your child is coming to you with any kind of concern pertaining to who they are and where they need guidance, number one thing is it's not them being rebellious, it's them seeking someone to hear them out. They are looking for guidance with you, they want you to accept them. And if you are feeling your child is doing something or getting involved in something that you need to protect them from, being abusive toward their sensitive nature is not really going to help. So get in touch with the affectionate part of you. Try to see what sources would help you, your child, in the best of manner and ways possible, because there is always hope. It takes time, but I will tell you exactly like you said, boys and girls both, even women that are the parents, they are the parents raising the now generation are those that have never addressed their own traumas. We have I have
And
had a
trauma
family.
passes through generations. So
Oh,
recent
absolutely.
and recent
Absolutely.
research has, Nida, it has shown that trauma, it passes through 3 generations.
It carries on the same pain. I mean, if you accepted trauma and abuse, and sadly, the truth is, our culture, all they see under the Desi label, we are accepting of abuse, whether it's in marriages, whether it's with children, physical abuse, saying, oh, someone degrades you, says something bad words, you have to kind of tame it. And especially in marriages, they're designed that way. It's a transaction. And if a couple never got into that harmonious relationship, how are they supposed to apply that nourishment and love to their children? So, our culture itself has accepted abuse in such a way that now it's showing up into the new generation and they're resisting because they're realizing emotional health is so much more important. Feeling
Absolutely.
content is so much more important. And we are coming from generations that ignored that fact and lived with that trauma. So that's where the clashes are happening.
So like, not just that, right? But it's physical abuse, it's verbal abuse. Like chamart lagana, yeah, hitting the child. It's just so normal, right? I once spoke to this person, and that person said that as long as my child, and he did not have a child at that time, and he was like, as long as the child is living under my roof, the child has to follow every rule of mine, and I can do whatever I want to discipline the child, including physical abuse. And I'm like, man, good luck to you. You know, God
And
help.
18 is like the adult life. Um, Legally a person is considered adult, whether it's in children culture, whether excuse me, it's religiously, whether it's under the government label. 18-year-old can make their own decisions, let's be honest about that. My son just turned 18, I learned that the hard way. But at that time, a parent's role changes from being a parent to a support system. You have to be a guide when your child is asking you for it, but you're no longer responsible to parent this adult. You can be the support system, you can provide for them where they need help, they
Yeah.
need you, and allow them to explain to you how are you needed. Because to an adult, you cannot say, oh, my way or no way. At
The
that time, you're
parents
a
need to
support system.
understand that कि आप जब तक अपना खुद का mindset change नहीं करेंगे, you cannot be that authoritative dictator, a mindset रख के आप नहीं function कर सकते हो, because it's not going to work with the children. They will wait for the day they are 18 and they will leave the house, or they will leave the house and they will not turn back and look at you because of how abusive you were. So it's time for you to for the generation to change. Kab tak ye trauma carry karega, right, itself. So Nida,
Exactly.
we are in
And
the last 2 minutes of our show, so I'll let you give your use the last 60 seconds to for your best advice for parents.
thank you. And my advice to the parents is it starts with the littlest of things, and it's your tone of voice. Lehja. How you speak to a child makes more impact than what you're actually saying.
And
All
I'm
right?
laughing because I'm guilty of that. I mean, my kids repeatedly tell me, "Mom, it's your tone. It just like makes me burn inside because मैं आपकी वो tone के अंदर irritation जैसी सुनती हूँ,
Mm.
तो it just kind of makes me go crazy." And I'm like, कितना प्रेशर है, अपनी एक्शंस को चेंज कर रही हूँ मैं, उसके साथ अपनी टोन के ऊपर भी मुझे काम करना पड़ रहा है. I mean, parenthood was never meant to be easy, right, Nida?
It wasn't because we were not raised to be parents. We weren't even raised to be adults properly.
But
And
usually
that's
my
the
daughter
thing,
says, "Hey,
right?
Mom, that's what when I say, hey, beta, I wasn't, I didn't come with the manual, right? I didn't know कि parenthood के अंदर." She was like, "You really didn't know what you were getting into when you had us." I'm like, I really didn't.
And we can do better for our children as long as we listen. We just have to change our tone and start being a listener. And as a parent, allow the child to tell you how they need to be raised. Simple as that. Be the guide.
Absolutely. So, Nida, we just have 20 seconds to go. So, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you being here. And listeners, you're listening to Saima Dillon, and I had Nida Javed with me. You're able to connect with her on social media. Hey, Nida, what's your website?
www.nidajaved.com.
And that Javed is with a W. And so, if you have questions, reach out to her. And, it's gone. Okay. So, इतना fast move करना पड़ता है because,
I'm actually seeing the live on here. It
yes, the
says,
live is on. So the live is different,
okay,
but we were on
the
radio.
radio is different.
So
Okay, gotcha, gotcha.
टाइमिंग्स जो चल रहे होते हैं उसको हमें अडेयर करना पड़ता है because
Of
life
course.
को it's my thing and we can go on for hours even if
Yes,
we
and so proud of you for doing all of this. And I really hope that the message gets to the right ears because parenting is becoming more challenging now, also because there are some, and when I say the teenage age is like a marvelous age, once you start talking to teenagers, they end up teaching you so much.
but you have
And
something to learn, and that's
yeah,
what I learned the hard way. And then the other thing is when I started learning with my daughters, it's like यार एवरी डे तुम क्रिटिसाइज करके कोई नया कीड़ा निकाल रहे होते हो कि मैम ये गलत है. मैंने कहा रोज रोज के एक नई चीज निकाल रहे होते हो तो मुझे भी गिव मी अ ब्रेक, राइट? निदा, होल्ड ऑन.
sure.
दिस इज साइमा. जी, यू आर ऑन, यू आर ऑफ एयर. Are there any attorneys coming today? Immigration attorneys, you know what? I don't know. Schedule. Let me see where. Acha, can you hold on a moment? Okay. I don't know. Okay, first of all, Nida, hold on. Let me say, hey,
Sure.
everyone, thank you all for being here every week. And like Nida said, the intention is to bring awareness and to touch lives. Our teenagers go through the hardest time, especially being here as children of immigrants. And मैं किसी और की कभी भी बात नहीं करती, मैं हमेशा अपनी बात करती हूँ कि मेरी खुद की जो जर्नी रही है और जिस जर्नी के अंदर I spent the longest time imposing my thoughts, my beliefs, my everything on my kids. And Now they say, Mom, you did that to us, we were traumatized. And so we don't realize, but this is the generation, they want explanation for everything, and they want to understand everything. So thank you all for joining me. Until next time, until next Thursday, see you then. Okay, I just wanted to disconnect that. So one thing at a time. And all right, Nida, thank you so much for being here. And it just
Of course. Thank you
moves
for
so.
having me.
So you take care, Nida.
You too. Thanks again for having me.
All right, Nida.
All right. Bye bye.